The KL High Court upheld former Repco Holdings chairman Lau Tiam Hoc's conviction for manipulating the Sabah-based gaming company's shares in 1997. Judge Dato Azhar Abdul Hamid said the court is satisfied, as with the prosecution, that the conviction is safe. It did, however, find Lau's sentence excessive. The KL Sessions Court, which convicted Lau in 2016, had sentenced him to 5 years jail and a 5 million ringgit fine, which he is presently appealing against. Azhar said today that Lau's jail sentence is now reduced to 1 year, although the fine is maintained. During the proceedings today, Lau's counsel Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah applied to have the execution of the jail sentence and payment of the fine suspended until his appeal is decided. Deputy Public Prosecutor Shobha Venugopal objected, arguing that there was no exceptional or special circumstance which warranted a stay. She also argued that should the court allow the stay, then the bail amount, which stands at 1.3 million ringgit at present, should be hiked by another 1 million ringgit. In the end, Azhar granted the stay with no additional conditions. Lawyers for Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi have sent a letter of representation to the Attorney General's chambers with regard to the prosecution's appeal over his acquittal of all 40 graft charges in the foreign visa system case. Sources told The Edge that the purpose of the letter is likely to persuade Attorney General Tan Sri Muhammad Idris Harun to drop the appeal against the Deputy Prime Minister. A case management over this was held today, and it is understood further case management over the outcome of the letter of representation is fixed for March 31st. Last September, the Shah Alam High Court freed Ahmad Zahid of all 33 charges under Section 16AB of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act (MACC) Act and 7 charges under Section 165 of the Penal Code. The court ruled that the prosecution had failed to prove a prima facie case and said the prosecution's key witnesses were not credible, trustworthy, believable or reliable. It also said there were doubts as to whether money was delivered to and received by Ahmad Zahid as alleged. This case aside, the UMNO president has another outstanding criminal matter in the courts. He has been ordered by another Kuala Lumpur High Court to enter his defence against 47 charges of criminal breach of trust, graft and money laundering, which relate to funds belonging to the charitable organisation Yayasan Akal Budi. The trial is scheduled to resume on October 31st. Sime Darby Plantation booked a 20.34% increase in its latest quarterly net profit, despite a year-on-year fall in both fresh fruit bunch production and realised CPO prices. Fourth quarter FY22 net profit was up at 562 million ringgit due to lower non-recurring loss and tax charges, while revenue increased by 2.16% to 5.67 billion ringgit. This brings full-year earnings to 2.49 billion ringgit, up 10.33%, and revenue to 21.03 billion ringgit, up 12.49%. The group declared a final dividend of 6.04 cent per share. The company also announced today the appointment of EPF CEO Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan to its board as a non-independent and non-executive director effective today. As of February 8th, the EPF had a 12.711% direct stake and a 1.489% indirect stake in Sime Darby Plantation. Looking ahead, Sime Darby Plantation expects CPO prices to remain steady in the first quarter of FY23 on the back of continued strong demand and supply concerns. As for its labour shortage woes, Managing Director Muhammad Helmi Othman Bashar said the issue should be resolved by the first half of this year, with the intake of another 5,000 workers. Shares in Sime Darby Plantation were unchanged at 4.35 ringgit, giving the group a market value of 30.08 billion ringgit. Gas Gas Malaysia reported a 37.42% jump in fourth quarter FY22 net profit on the back of higher gross profit, lower finance costs and higher finance income. Quarterly earnings improved to 95.22 million ringgit. Meanwhile, revenue rose by 14.57% to 2.22 billion ringgit, thanks to higher average natural gas selling prices in tandem with global market prices. For FY22, net profit rose 56.05% to 389.54 million ringgit, underpinned by a 30.72% jump in revenue to 7.65 billion ringgit. It declared a second interim dividend of 8.24 cents per share. On its outlook, Gas Malaysia noted that Malaysia's economic growth is expected to be in the range of 4 to 5% in 2023, supported by firm domestic demand and continued improvements in the labour market. Still, headwinds such as inflationary pressures, rising labour cost, movement in the overnight policy rates and a projected global economic slowdown will remain as part of the backdrop this year. With the appropriate measures in place, it expects to deliver a satisfactory performance for FY23. Gas Malaysia closed 1.83% higher at RM3.34 per share, giving it a market capitalisation of 4.29 billion ringgit. Malaysia's vehicle sales fell 36% to 49,461 units last month from 76,657 units in December 2022. This was due to the shorter working month amid Chinese New Year festivities, while a shortage of chips and components continued to dog certain makes. According to the Malaysian Automotive Association or MAA, sales of vehicles, however, increased 19% year-on-year from the 41,533 units sold in January 2022. It expects sales this month to be higher compared with January, with a full working month and fulfillment of bookings made during the sales tax exemption period. Breaking it down by category, sales of passenger vehicles rose to 43,927 units in January 2023 from 34,570 units a year ago, while sales of commercial vehicles were down to 5,534 units from 6,963 units the year prior. Total vehicle production was up 36.2% year-on-year at 58,527 units in January from 42,961 units previously.